welcome to this tasting with Whiskey Mavens and the group. So we're tonight we're going to taste five whiskeys, all from our Glass Revolution imports portfolio, and we're going to start with Japan and then pretty much focus on Scotland. The only one we're going to do from a direct distillery, an OB bottling, is the first one from Shizuoka in Japan, and the rest of them are all independent bottling. So the first one, like I said, is from Shizuoka. It's their Contact S. Shizuoka is a fairly new distillery right in the outskirts of Shizuoka, which is about an hour and a half by train from Tokyo. It's a great ride. You go past Mount Fuji. When Taiko was looking to build the distillery, he tried a number of different locations, but his family is originally from Shizuoka, so he went and in front of the council, pleaded his case, and they allowed him to build a distillery. So just picture it. There's a stream running next to it, and then around it are green tea terraces where all this green tea is growing. So it's just a beautiful, stunning sight, and you've got mountains in the background. So it's quite stunning. But one thing that Taiko wanted to do was try and get as much local barley as possible, which is hard in Japan. Most farmers are used to growing other things, but he was able to find a couple of them and work with them. One of the things that Taiko did at the beginning was at auction, he was able to buy all of the old Karazawa distillery equipment, and he was able to salvage one of the stills. He was able to salvage the Portis mill. For the still, he had to change the burner, but everything else was fine. And the other two stills are in one of the warehouses. So if you tour the distillery and you go to the back, you'll see the old still sitting there. So the Karazawa still that he's using is steam heated. And then the other still is a wood-fired still. So it's, you're getting two contrasting distillates coming out of there. Contact S, which was the first release outside of Japan, is a combination of distillate from the Karazawa still and the wood-fired still. And most of this is Japanese barley. There's a little bit of peated and unpeated Scottish barley, and the rest is German beer malt. Barley that's going into it. So the 5 different strains of barley were used, aged in first fill bourbon casks and some sherry quarter casks to do this. So
it's very sandalwoody.
Yep. That's true. And it's bottled at 55.5%, which
that's what I was curious about.
Is nice because I talked to a lot of we've been approached by a number of Japanese distilleries, and some of them were bottling at 46 and 43, and a lot of them are moving down to 40% only because they can get a bigger yield. And I said, I'm not interested in that. I want to have the real thing. I don't want to pay for water, and I don't think my consumers want to pay for water either. So we've turned down a number of Japanese distilleries, but when I first met Taiko and Mika, 7 years ago, I just fell in love with the distillery, and they're great people. My connection to them is that Robin Tuchik, who owns Blackadder, is an investor in Shizuoka, and the parent company of Shizuoka is Gaia Flow, which is Robin's Japanese importer as well. So it's a little incestuous relationship, but that by no means does that make the whiskey any worse. So
very peppery.
Peppery, yeah.
Very peppery.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, this is just over 3 years old, but it's got a lot of depth and character to it. but it is very green. Yeah.
But this is first fill bourbon cask, you're saying, right? Or
first fill bourbon cask and some sherry quarter casks.
Sure. Okay.
But mostly first fill bourbon.
Oh, wow. Almost.
Sorry, I lost you, Keith. Can't hear you. No. I don't know if anybody else can hear him.
The mouthfeel is very waxy.
It is extremely waxy, and I think that's certainly the wood-fired still is going to give you that. Taiko describes this as being a full circle, where from the Karazawa still you get that lighter distillate coming out there, and from the wood-fired still you're getting that heavier spirit. So it sort of comes full circle. You get the lighter notes up top, the more fruity and vegetable notes, and then down the bottom you're getting that heavier, meatier, waxy flavors. Yeah. And we unfortunately are sold out of this, but there is still some around. Sorry, go ahead, Ken.
No, it's very hard to get. I've been trying. I have the Marriage of S&W.
Marriage of S&W.
Yeah.
Which one's that?
The one that's at Binny's.
Oh, okay. That's the. Well, they've got the S, and then they've got the W, and then they've got the K and W little mini kits.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So that was the prologue series. But we do currently have the wood-fired Japanese. I can't remember if it's the wood or Karazawa, still 100% Japanese barley. We have some of that in stock, and then coming in we have pot still wood-fired W Japanese barley, and then 2 other ones coming in. So, but we only get a limited. We get like 50 cases of each, or 300 bottles of each every time.
I think 10, 15 years from now, this is going to be this is Yamazaki in making. This is totally Yamazaki in making. If anybody's tried, one of the more the 18-year-old. I mean, this for a 3-year-old, it almost feels like it's been aged for a longer time.
Oh, for sure. I think there's a lot of depth and complexity, considering when you said it was like just slightly older than 3 years. I was like, really? It was hard to believe.
Yeah, it's a very, very long fermentation. They have 8 fermentation tanks, all stainless steel, and very, very slow, long fermentation, and then very slow distillation. So you're getting a lot of really great flavors coming out of there.
So, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Aaron.
Oh, no, I just wanted to ask, by long fermentation, like how many days is that?
They're about 130 to 150 hours.
Whoa.
Okay. Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, can I ask about the grain? Because you're saying Japanese barley, but I mean, that's not really a thing. So I know you're saying it's grown in Japan, but is there a particular type of barley that they're using?
Oh, good question. Yes, it is. I know Taiko told me it's smaller granules, and I can't remember if it's a 6-row versus a 2-row.
Probably 6 if it's going to be smaller.
In India, Amrut uses a 6-row barley.
That's interesting.
So I know that it's higher in nutrients, lower in carbohydrates, which gives you a lower yield but a richer flavor.
Yeah, explains a lot.
Yeah, and then you've got, I think the beer malt adds a little bit of extra character to it as well. Mm-hmm. One of the releases they did recently has chocolate malt in it as well. So I mean, he's using a variety of different malts to make these.
I talked to some of my friends in Japan. He's already, this distillery already gained the cult status. In less than 4 years, it's Buffalo Trace of Japan now.
Well, Blackadder bottled 2 single casks of Shizuoka, and both of them on the secondary markets are selling for about $2,500 a bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
And we
Lord.
got
Wow.
12 bottles of one and 18 bottles of the other. So yeah, I got a little bit left, but yeah, this is a distillery to watch for. I think it's got a lot going on, and they're really dedicated to what they're doing. I mean, there are a few distilleries around that are doing that. They're going back to the old school way. Bimber, which we bring in from England, London, they, their own floor maltings, 100% barley from one farm, all wood fired, still very small operation. And they're currently building a distillery in Scotland, which is going to have the same thing. Their own floor maltings, barley from one distillery. They built a distillery. It's even got a pagoda up on the chimney. So it's very old school. It's just a beautiful distillery. And they should start operating any time now. So it's nice to see some of them going back to the old way of doing things.
And I've heard he's very, Makaram told me he's very passionate about what he does.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so should we move on to number 2? Which is the Claxton's Orkney Island. Now, one thing you'll notice about if you can read the label, I'll show you an example of I don't have the Orkney here, but this is the full bottle, and this is the Port Dundas 20-year-old. But you can see that in the center, where it's the Claxtons, it has the compass points and the geographical location. So where they cannot name the distillery, for example, the Orkney Island, they actually have the compass points on here. So if you look and try to find, just Google the compass points, 58.97 degrees north and 2.955 degrees west, you will find the name of the distillery. There's not a lot of distilleries on Orkney, but there's a couple of obvious ones. So unfortunately, some distilleries do not allow independent bottlers to put the name of the distillery on there. So in this case, this particular distillery did not. Does anybody know what it is?
Hi, Alan.
What is it?
Alan is here.
Hey,
Yeah, Alan.
Good evening. Sorry I'm late. Elhan from Chicago. Hi, Erin. Good to see you.
We just had the first one.
Hey,
We're just on the second one now. So we started with the Shizuoka, Ilan, and we're just on the Claxton's Orkney Isles now. So single cask bottled at 50% ABV. Claxton's, we used to import Claxton's a number of years ago, and then I stopped importing them because the bottles were like big rectangular cognac bottles. And I said to them, well, a lot of retailers don't want it because it takes up 2 spaces on the shelf. So we're going to have to do something else. So in the last number of years, they bought their own facility, own warehouses. They're down in the lowlands near Dumfries. They've got about 8,000 barrels now. They've got their own bottling facility, and they are using these other bottles. They're still, for some of the releases, they're still doing the big square bottles, but for most of them are coming out with this. So this is part of the exploration series. One of the interesting things is that when you take the foil off the top, there is, I thought I had it here, I lost it. There's a coin that sits on top of there, and it's a Claxton's copper coin. And if you collect 5 of them and send them back to Claxton's, they will send you a certificate congratulating you and also giving you the ability to buy a bottle of a very special release. So that's kind of a fun thing to do. And we're working with them now to get a release that's going to be dedicated just to the U.S. Right. So did anyone guess what this was? Or did anyone Google it to find out the distillery?
No.
I was trying to Google, but it wasn't working on my phone. So
Okay.
Wait, it's a very familiar, funky note. I don't know.
Well, which what are the common Orkney distilleries?
Well, it's either Scapa
Highland
or Highland
Park.
Park, right?
Highland Park, yeah.
It is Highland Park.
Right.
Yes.
Highland Park.
Is it really?
This is Highland Park.
Yep.
Interesting.
This is really good stuff. Very creamy on the nose, and
It is very creamy.
Very
Yeah,
creamy.
very rich, very oily, a lot of texture to it.
those herbal flower notes, though, are really something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of like sort of. I also want to say like candied flowers. Have you ever had candied flowers?
Yeah, yeah.
That kind of that
It's
note
soft
going on.
lavender quality.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
So this was nice, and they like not all of them. Most of them have the name of the distillery on it. There was only 2 this release that they couldn't. This one and one that just says Lowlands on it. But if you Google the geographical point, it's Auchentoshan.
Ah,
And they did some really probably unknown distilleries like Dalmunnock and Tom Lavulin, which you don't see a lot of as available because 99% of the production goes into blends. But it's nice to have something like that kind of available.
What's the ABV on this one?
50.
50?
Yeah.
What about the age? Did you mention the age?
It's 8 years.
8 years old, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's I know it's hard to read on these little labels, but my office did they actually shrank the bigger labels and put those on.
Wow.
But I think
It's
you
interesting
should have
that
gotten
there
like a little card like this, right, in there? With your, did you get
Yeah.
something like this with your the bottles?
Yep.
Okay, so you can make out more
Yeah.
information on there.
Yep, there it is.
oh, this is surprisingly floral.
It is.
It's really nice. I don't remember Highland Park being this floral, but maybe I'm just not remembering properly. I don't know.
Well, it's not. I mean, sometimes Highland Park can have a higher peat content because they tend to add some peat to it. I think there's a little bit of peat in there, so you don't, but it's not overpowering. I think that's giving it more of the floral notes.
I was about to say that, peat comes a little bit more on the palate than nose is fairly bland, basically, from a peat standpoint.
Yeah.
I'm wondering
But
what
I'm getting
a
more
little
of
bit
like
water opens
it's not
up.
islet peat. I'm getting more like inland peat, more mainland peat, just coating the tongue. But it's very viscous. I mean, it's just got really a lot of depth to it.
Yeah.
Adding a bit water, even on the nose, brought a little bit more, I wouldn't say peat, but, slight, smoke note at the background. Definitely not a medicinal maritime note, but still very floral, though.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on?
Good weight to it. It's a young whiskey, but it sits well in the palate. Very nice mouth coating in my mind.
Yeah, it's
I
creamy.
mean, it's surprising that I think hopefully people are starting to change their opinion about younger whiskeys. I mean, I think that the whole, it wasn't until the 70s that we started getting age statements on bottles, and that was more of a U.S. thing because the Scottish distilleries started to put age statements on there that people will be more willing to pay a higher price for older whiskeys. But now you can see a lot of them reverting back to no age statements on them, and it just goes to show you that there's nothing wrong with a 6 or 8 year old whiskey. I mean, Lagavulin did an 8-year-old. Ardbeg has done younger releases. So it just shows you that you don't have to get a 30 or 40-year-old whiskey to really enjoy it and to have the depth of character on it.
No, peat,
I actually
peat-
also like it that they kind of force the distillery, in my opinion. Yeah, you got to have a really good wood to really hold the young whiskey. So it's kind of a forcing, hopefully, those guys to really, really pay attention to the wood quality as they're releasing younger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the quality of the grain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's it's definitely the wood and the climate, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was having a discussion with someone today about independent bottlers and the quality of barrels and stuff. And there are ones, especially the more reputable ones, that pay attention to the barrels that they get. Unfortunately, sometimes what happens is when Diageo or Pernod does their annual sale of extra stock, which they figure they're not going to need for their blends, they're sold in lots. So you would have to buy like 30 barrels or 50 barrels off a particular distillery, and you can't taste them before. So they come to your warehouse and you taste through them, and you might keep 80% of them, and the rest you're either going to have to use in blends or sell off, which is invariably what happens. But there are markets, there are independent bottlers in, I won't name some of the countries, that really don't care about the quality of the barrel, and they'll just push it out. And fortunately for them, there is a market for that. There are consumers willing to just buy on name. They don't care about the quality of barrel that was used to mature it, which is unfortunate. But that just means better stuff for us. Yeah. All right, should we go to Blackadder? The Blair Athol, 13-year-old. Before you pour, if you haven't poured your dram, just see if you may have some barrel char floating in there. I don't know if anybody does, but I'll show you an example of the one that I have here, and if you can see, it's almost like a snow globe of whiskey.
Yeah, there's
So,
some.
This is Blackadder is an independent bottler who one of their main brands are the raw cask, and raw cask refers to very little filtration. This is the way Robin likes to describe it. This is the way whiskey used to be. So if you went to a bar in Scotland in the early 1900s or even the 1930s, there would not be a wall of whiskey like Cayenne has behind him. You would just say to the barkeep, "Give me a whiskey," and they would have a barrel from the local distillery on the ground, and they would just pull from there. And you would get all of the fats and oils and everything else coming from there. So Blackadder Raw Cask series, they try to do as little filtration as possible. So the Blair Athol was distilled July 10th, 2009 and bottled in October 22. So it's a 13-year-old at 52.1%. There was 291 bottles, and I bought all of this for the U.S., but I'm willing to share it with you guys.
Is that a sherry cask?
That is, it looks like it, but it says it's a hogshead, so
Okay.
it's probably a first fill hogshead. I'm not getting any sherry on the nose at all.
It's got a strong nose,
But it does have a strong
Yeah.
nose. It's
Yeah,
one of the things
coloring.
that they did not say, and it doesn't say on the label that it's a sherry or a butt or a sherry hogshead. It's just hogshead. So, but I mean, the color sort of indicates it might be something else.
Well, it
And
smells
now
like
that I'm having
port.
it, I'm picking up I don't know if anybody else is. I'm getting a little sulfury note on there.
Port, maybe?
What do you mean by a small amount of filtration? What are they using if they're just?
So they use a very fine mesh filter, Laura, so that they still have to filter it, but they basically are trying to catch bigger chunks of things. But once I had a bottle of Bamor from Blackadder that actually had a piece of wood in the bottle, a small piece of wood. But really, they're just trying to get keep as much of the fats and oils as they can, because you guys are all whiskey lovers, and I abhor chill filtering. I just think chill filtering just strips out so much of the flavor So if you can get a whiskey that has had very little filtration, certainly not been chill filtered, you're going to get a lot more of the flavors and the texture.
What's the proofing on this?
This is 52.1.
Very nutty.
That barrel char.
Very nutty.
Candied nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of like almost burnt almonds, but burnt almonds and walnuts. Yep.
Feels sherry.
It does.
I'm gonna say that this is. I'm gonna say this is sherry. There definitely is sherry influence on this. I'm getting that sort of Christmas cake kind of.
If this is not sherry, I'm sailing to England. I'm sailing to Blackadder.
I don't know if anybody else is getting that or not.
Yeah.
Which so?
It's tannic. It's very drying. So definitely some sort of a red wine in this. Could be sherry. Could be
Yeah.
It almost reminds me of a Hazelburn.
I hadn't. This is my first time.
Oh yeah, Hazelburn, right?
Yeah. I think for the next round, I'm going to switch this one around.
Yeah. It almost has a port influence. Like it's really sweet.
Yeah, it has that
It is.
fortified wine, that sweet wine kind of notes in there, and sherry. I mean, like if it's Oloroso is not going to give a lot of sweet notes to it, right? It's a drier sherry. But I don't know. If this is sherry, it's got to be a refill, but it doesn't say that on the label. So I will have to send a message to them to find out for sure what it was.
I feel it's more on the PX.
You think it's PX?
Yeah.
I can see that.
Could be. Yep.
You're right though, Kayan. This is very nutty.
Yeah. That's the first thing I got. I was like,
Caramelized nuts for sure. This is
Yes,
delicious.
exactly. Like maple.
Yeah,
whatever.
maple coated nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those toasted maple coated. I don't even know. Was it walnuts? It's not walnuts. Though.
one
Maybe
good thing 3
pecans?
months of sabbatical is that. Sorry, go ahead. One good thing 3 months of sabbatical has done is sharpen my taste buds.
Has everyone here had Blair Athol before?
I'm sorry?
Has everyone had Blair Athol?
No,
No.
never.
Nope.
Most of it does go into blends, so you don't see a lot of it. It is a distillery that's under the radar, but I think they make a great, rich product.
Yeah, I mean you can tell.
Yeah, it's quite nice. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on the first three? What are people's? The first three. What are your favorite?
What was the first one that I missed that you guys?
The Shizuoka, the Japanese.
Shizuoka. Okay.
Yeah.
Honest, if I have to be honest, Shizuoka.
Same for me.
Same for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was different. The sandalwood. The first thing that hit me was sandalwood. For a moment, I thought it was Mizunara, but no.
It's not. No.
I'm like on the Blackadder.
I don't think if he's going to use any Mizunara cask, it's going to be sometime now. He's not using any. He doesn't have any laid down, so we'll see what happens. Laura, what do you think?
I actually like the Claxtons.
Okay.
I like the creaminess of that one.
Yeah.
With the floral notes. That's really nice. And then the Blackadder is really something.
Yeah.
I mean the Shizuoka, pronounce that again for me.
Shizuoka.
Shizuoka. It's nice. I just find it a bit dry. To each his own, of course. But.
Sure. Yeah. I like Keith.
Yeah, it kind of a. To me, it's like what time of the day? Like, I think I think your second one, the Claxton, it's like a nice afternoon before drink. When you can drink it when it's like hot weather outside. You get all these floral, beautiful, oily notes that I feel like the Blair Athol is definitely more of a heavier, whiskey that may be fitting more for an after dinner type of stuff.
Yeah.
Or a rye drinker.
Yeah. Or
I was going to say,
right.
coming from a bourbon world, the Blackadder definitely is more a comfort, if you will. The Claxton was too herbally for me. It was.
Well, I can see that if you're coming from a bourbon world, certainly that's not something you would expect from a whiskey. But
how about you, Todd?
I sit in the bourbon world very comfortably, so the Blackadder is definitely the one for me.
All right.
I love that caramelized nut feeling from the Blackadder is really pretty fantastic.
This Japanese one, I'm going back to it. I apologize, I was late. It has an interesting funk to it,
I found that one interesting, but the Claxton, I couldn't sit down and I don't want that every day, but that herbally creaminess thing that everybody keeps describing is kind of tantalizing. I really enjoyed that. It's different. It's not something that I get every day. So in limited doses, that's definitely my number 2 in this tasting so far. But this Blackadder is fantastic for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joe, what about you? Did you get
the Blackadder? So you know me, I'm a big fan of barrel charr. I think that my wife teases me. She calls them my flavor crystals. So that's definitely the Blackadder with the filter is my favorite.
Okay, fair enough. Keith, do you have?
Oh, could you hear me now? Or
yes, we can. Yep.
Okay. I mean, I like the Blackadder a lot. I like the sherry influence of it, but what really stand out for me was the first one, the Shizuoka. I mean, I agree with. I think it tastes like a Mizuno cask, which was welcome relief. I haven't had it, try to get Japanese stuff for a while. I haven't found, something that's close to like the old Ichiros.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely. All 3 of them are very good. They're very unique profile. The second one, the Claxtons, I do enjoy the whiff, the creaminess in the beginning before drinking it. I mean, like someone did mention, it is what you're in the mood for, and time of the day, or
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know that Ichiro did come over to visit Taiko at Shizuoka and was very impressed with what he was doing. There is a similarity between what Taiko's doing and what Ichiro's doing. So, yeah.
I tell you, I understand why, Blackadder was a good one, but it's like, it's a nice sherry base, single cask type of whiskey, basically. To me, this Japanese one was more interesting. It has an interesting funk to it. It's a unique one. So I'm kind of navigating from this first one now that I'm catching up to it. just because it's unique, just because it's a different one. Like it's a different flavor profile that you don't get every day in a bottle of whiskey. To me, that's interesting.
I think you've got enough of a sample. You guys can go back to revisit these.
I will say that Shizuoka is unique in the fact that my only experience with cask strength Japanese was Kayo.
Okay.
And that was a nice change.
Yeah. Yeah, they're doing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening in Japan. Unfortunately, there's a lot of not so good whiskeys coming out of there as well, but there's a lot of great whiskeys coming out. But the price.
Are the new rules in effect now?
What's that?
Are the new rules in effect for Japan now?
Well, the new rules went in. They're not mandatory. They're a suggested rule, and not everyone has signed off, especially. The bigger producers have not agreed to them, but it's the labeling rules are supposed to say if it's Japanese whiskey that it is made and matured and bottled in Japan, and there's a lot of that doesn't exist. There's a lot of still imported juice that's being bottled as Japanese whiskey or blended with some Japanese whiskey and bottled. Yeah. There's a lot of rice whiskey, a lot of grain whiskey that's being produced as well, and not everyone's disclosing that, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Okay. Dram Hunters. So the Dram Hunters Strathmill 15. Dram Hunters is our own label. it's barrels that we select and lay down and decide when to bottle. So we held on to this Strathmill. I think we've had it for about 5 years and decided to bottle it last year. So 15 years, it's almost 16. There was 243 bottles that came out of it, and it's if anyone's, I don't know if anyone's had Strathmill before or not, but it's again one of those distilleries where you don't see a lot of it coming out as single malts because most of it again is going into blends. I see Jeff's joined us.
Jeff is already.
Oh yes.
Hello.
Jeff, it's okay. I was late too.
I thought it doesn't start for another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow. This tastes like clover honey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's like a vanilla bomb to me.
Yeah.
Vanilla.
Oh yeah.
A citrus background.
Wow.
Yeah, very good.
So we did, last year we bottled 2. We did the Strathmill, and then we did a 30-year-old Cambus that when I bought the barrel, we had just transferred it to sherry. So I spent the last 4 years in sherry. But this Strathmill is 100% in bourbon cask, the entire 15 years.
Are these sold anywhere locally by you?
Depends locally. Where are you?
I mean, Raleigh. You said you were in the Raleigh area.
These are available special order. So if you went to your local ABC store and ordered it, they would bring it in.
Okay.
It is coded for North Carolina.
And that'd be anywhere in
a
North
lot of ginger. Anyone getting ginger?
This is fantastic.
Yeah.
This is really good.
Sorry, I didn't hear the last question.
No, I'm getting ginger back.
Yeah.
On the back of the palate, yes.
Yeah.
On the front.
That's nice.
Yeah, this is a lot going on with this.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's more refreshing than the last 3, but it's the complexity. It's a different complexity. So lighter.
Yeah. This moves to number 1 now.
This is very good.
Are most of these barrels refill barrels?
Oh wow.
Are most of these? Sorry.
Are these refill barrels? You said bourbon barrels. Are these refill bourbon?
This one is a. I'd have to check and see. I don't remember. I don't have one of them here. It's either a first fill or a refill. I'm gonna guess on the color. It's a refill, but it does have a lot of flavor to it. I mean, it's not heavy vanilla, which you would normally get from a first fill.
Because I get some cereal tones as well. I feel like I feel the grain, so that's why I'm asking. Like, there's a little bit of a spirit character coming up as well on this one. That's why I was asking.
Yeah.
Yep.
I will check my notes again and let you know. I can go back to the original when we originally purchased it to let you know what it was.
What's the proof on this?
It is 54. Sorry.
The empty glass smells like very. Very medicinal.
55.9.
That does not taste like 110 proof.
Doesn't.
No.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you get a good quality single barrel, it hasn't been watered down. It's not blended with other barrels. It's just coming straight out of the barrel. I mean, again, we do very little filtration on these, and they're pretty much dumped and bottled. We're not adding any water to it, so you do get a lot of the natural characteristics from the wood, the barrel coming out.
It almost tastes like a cleanish.
Like a what? A cleanish. Yeah.
Yes, the cleanish.
Yeah. Yeah.
So dense.
It's very
Yeah,
sweet.
A lot going on there. I mean, I
yeah.
literally choked on it. Ugh.
It's very
Raj,
well.
can you share a little bit about your company, just with all these different brands that you have?
Yeah. So my company, we're an importer, so we're the sole source of all the brands that we bring into the U.S. So, and as the importer, we then sell to distributors across the U.S. So we're in 46 states. Where the state control ones like North Carolina, we obviously have to go through the state system, but I have a broker that brings things in and helps to move it. But we can list anything in North Carolina that we want, and then once it's listed, you just go to your local store and say you want it. The rules used to be that you had to buy an entire case, but no longer is that the case. You just order it, and you can take one bottle, or you can take all 6 bottles, whatever you want. So I get the privilege of being able to travel the world and find whiskeys and find other products and bring them in. So
you might have the best job in the world.
Well, we take all the risk, but we do get a lot of rewards. So yeah. So
what made you want to extra age this barrel?
Sorry, Laura.
Sorry. You mentioned that you extra aged the Dram Hunter.
Well, this one, I mean, it's 15 years, almost 16, but the other one we did last year, the Canvas, 30 years. When it was 26 years old, we put it into a sherry cask. So it spent 4 years in sherry.
No, didn't you say? I mean, maybe I misheard you, but didn't you say that this one, when you got it, was younger, and then you let it sit for a bit?
Oh yeah. We've got about 30 or 40 barrels in the warehouse, and we buy them. Like I bought a Dalmore when it was 5 years old, and I'm sitting on that because obviously no one's going to buy a 5-year-old Dalmore, but it's almost 10 now. But I'll probably wait till it's 11 or 12 before I bottle it. So we get samples every year and taste them to decide if we're going to bottle or if we're going to sit on it. Yeah. So nothing. We don't buy anything and then immediately bottle it.
What's the climate like in your warehouse?
It's in the lowlands of Scotland, so they've got a couple of warehouses, and one of them is a typical dunnage warehouse. And the other ones are racking. It's a fairly large facility. They've been storing a lot of barrels for other distilleries that don't have the space. So they're taking to storing a lot of barrels vertically rather than horizontally, which I'm not a big fan of, but obviously you can get them on a pallet. They take up less room. Yeah.
Why is that? Why are you not a fan of the vertical?
Well, I just don't think you get as much wood exposure. You're obviously only getting one head. You're not getting both heads, and you're not getting all of the wood. So, yeah.
And you like to do a different head char than the barrel itself? Yes. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If we can, we like to do that. But also because then the liquid's lying down, and you're getting contact with all the staves plus the 2 different heads. Whereas if it's standing up, you just who cares about the other head?
Gotcha.
Yeah,
that seems to be the going direction that so many distilleries are doing, though.
Vertically.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can store more. It takes up less room, right? You don't need all that space. So.
Right, but the physics aren't going to allow for as much flavor.
Yeah, I mean, again, it depends on the type of wood and the char level, and the climate of the warehouse is going to have an impact as well. But I think a lot of the older distilleries are still going vertical, or still going horizontal, but some of the newer ones, because of space constraints, are just putting them on pallets and stacking them vertically. All right, should we do the last one? The Blackadder Ben Rennes 15-year-old. This was finished in a Barbados rum cask. It is 4 square rum, for those of you who are curious about that. But in finishing, I mean, the distilleries. So some people believe that finishing is a way to mask a bad cask. Others believe that by finishing, you're allowing some extra flavor character to develop and be introduced to the spirit. And finishing can mean anything from 3 months to a year. You don't have to disclose what it is. It can even be 2 months. There's no rules about how long you're finishing it for. But once it gets past a couple of years, then it's no longer finishing. You're double maturing it. So it's a little different game. But this is Ben Rinnes. If no one's had it before, it's just a rich. Really,
it's a quintessential space side.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a space side, out and out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Heaviness tells it all.
You don't get a lot of rum finish Ben Rinnes though. This is very interesting.
You don't absolutely.
You don't,
and on the nose, you're probably not going to get a lot of it, but certainly on the palate, you'll get that rum coating right there, just sitting there.
Keep in mind, Richard Seal doesn't add any sugars or anything to his rums.
Correct.
So, I mean, it's definitely going to be more subtle.
Yeah. So Blackadder, they also do bottle rums as raw cask, and years ago I started saying to Robin, well, these empty rum barrels, if you're not going to reuse them for rum, then you should at least be finishing your whiskeys in it. So he's done a number of releases like that. And Richard he's very strict on who can and can't use Foursquare on the labels.
Yeah.
I remember.
It's funny. I want
to know who he denied.
How he's what?
I want to know who he denied access to. No, you.
Well, it was funny. We bottled a couple of Foursquare probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and the last one we did, Richard found out about it and had his European broker contact us and say, you can't use the Foursquare name on there. And we said, well, here, Richard, here's the purchase order, the sale, then when we bought the cask, and nowhere on there does it say you can't use Foursquare, and we're sorry if we did, but here, we were told we could do that. So he later said, oh, that's fine, don't worry about it. And then he told his European brokers that if sell these guys some Foursquare. So going forward, hopefully we'll get some more Foursquare.
How long did you finish it for?
Finish this.
In the
this is Blackadder that finished it.
Yeah. I mean, how long was it in the Foursquare barrel?
Oh, I don't know that. It would be up. I'd have to find out from Blackadder, but I think normally they do about 9 months.
What's interesting, I don't know if any of you in the bourbon world have had the Bardstown Foursquare collab that just came out.
Yeah,
and it
the new
tastes
one that came
totally like it totally tastes like Foursquare. It does not taste like bourbon at all. This is the exact opposite. I mean, you just have that really subtle taste to it. It's really interesting.
They had it in for a longer period of time, and I think it was a pretty fresh barrel that had just been emptied.
Yeah,
and they filled the bourbon in there. Yeah.
Raj, I'm sorry. What was the ABV on this one?
This one is 54.2. And there was 260 bottles distilled November 1st, 2006, and bottled in October 2022.
Fantastic.
And again, I bought the entire cask for the US. So sometimes we can do that, sometimes we can't.
So you mostly have single barrels that you're selling?
Well, a lot of what we're tasting tonight are single barrels. So all of the and usually when we bring in something from an independent bottler, it will be a single barrel. The first one, the Shizuoka, was not. It was a limited worldwide release.
Okay.
But I think there was only 4,000 or 5,000 bottles worldwide.
Do we have these in Chicago market? That Vinny's has any of these bottles?
Yep, they have. In fact, they have the both Blackadders. They have the Blair Athol and the Berliners.
They
Yeah,
also
and
have
I'll be
Shizuoka.
there. I'll be there next week. I'll be at Benny's on Thursday for
World of Whiskey. Oh, I'll see
Yeah.
you there. Okay.
Is it
perfect,
Thursday
yeah.
or Tuesday? Oh, you're going to be at work. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay. Because Distill, Illinois.
Oh,
Milan, you going to be there at Distill, Illinois?
Oh yes, I'm going to the distillery as well. There are like 2 events next week,
two
right?
events.
Yeah. And then Nicole is having another one in the Longman and Eagle on Friday. It's like a dinner, / tasting.
Yeah.
There's like 3 whiskey events,
Yeah, it's Whiskey Week, right?
Yeah, it's the whole whiskey week. And then I bet Mike is doing stuff in Delilah's afterwards. So we'll be whiskeyed out, next week in Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Raj, just out of curiosity, did you send any to Astor Wines or Charlie by any chance?
Charlie, no, but Astor should have some of these.
Okay.
I know that my New York distributor pretty much brings everything in, and if not Astor, there will be other New York retailers that have it.
Okay. Thank you.
Are you in New York?
Yeah, I'm in New York.
So if Astor doesn't have it, do you know First Fill Spirits in Saratoga Springs?
No, I do not. I'll look them up, definitely.
Yeah, they're great. They're 2 good friends of mine that own it, and they're just been in operation for just over a year, but they've got an amazing selection of whiskey and rums, and they will ship to you unless you want to drive up to Saratoga Springs.
Raj, I'm going to send you a Facebook and a message. I'm going to be in Raleigh this weekend. I want to ask you a couple questions.
Okay, got it.
Okay, fellows.
Right. Anything else? We gotta get ready for the second tier.
So it was a treat. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
These were fantastic.
Thank you, guys.
Tasting. Thank you very much.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care. Kyan, do we have to hang on here? Do we get out?
Yeah, let's hang on. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, thanks again.
Thank you.
How do I? Oh boy.
Jeff, you were early, but you're more than welcome.
Yeah.
That's okay. I just came in. It's like I could swear he said 7:15.
Well, he may have said Central Time, but I think that's because I was confused too initially. So I'm gonna switch I'm gonna move the Blair Athol to after the Dram Hunters.
Okay, what order are we going in?
Yeah, so we're gonna start with the Shizuoka.
Okay.
Then we're gonna do the Claxtons.
Okay.
Then we're gonna do the Dram Hunter.
Okay.
Then we're gonna do the Blackadder Blair Athol.
That's the 13th.
And then the
right?
Blackadder Ben Rinus.
Okay. Great. Awesome. Thank you.
Hey, Steve.
How you doing?
Fine. Raj, you met Steve before, right? At Amrut tasting.
I believe so.
Yeah.
So I think I remember Mumford having discussion about Mumford, Tennessee. So.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I was sitting there, pulled it up, and I seen something on the Facebook, and I was like, "Oh wow, maybe it was 6:15 Central Time. I missed it."
Oh yeah, I know. That's
Yeah.
I mean, Raj has a very tight schedule, so we had to jam in everything in, one stretch.
Hey, I'm all for it.
well, yeah. This is the only week that I'm home this month. So
I wish I had that problem. I don't leave till next week.
Oh, you're leaving for Mexico?
No, we're going to Punta Cana.
Oh, okay.
Even though they got put on the list today again for
For-
violence.
really,
Yeah.
wow.
I said it's probably no different driving through Memphis, so I can't. It's not going to bother me too much. We stay on a resort down there anyway, so it's not really that bad.
Hey, Sean, can you hear us? Sean is driving, I think.
I can, but I'm currently in an Uber, so I'll be out
Oh,
there.
you're in an Uber, okay.
Just don't pour the Uber driver any of this.
Yeah.
No sharing.
Yeah, this session can go as long as because this is the. Hey, Roosevelt. Julius, we don't see you on camera. Are you driving too?
How's it going? No, my camera's on.
I'm just making dinner right now, but I could put myself on.
I don't mind seeing what you're making.
Oh, it's leftovers. Nothing good right now. It was yesterday that was good.
Yeah, I'm planning to smoke something this weekend.
Awesome.
Well, you did legalize pot there, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Unlike Wisconsin, which is now surrounded.
Oh yeah. Minnesota is legalized, right?
Yep, they just got it done.
Yeah. So you Wisconsinites are the odd one out.
We are, and it's awful. And I don't even want any part of it, but it's awful.
Yeah, so I think.
But Jeff, you said you're out of the country. Where are you?
Me?
I thought you said you're out of the country.
No.
Oh,
not unless you count Wisconsin out of the country.
No. My wife's from there, so I can't do that.
Well, if she's not in earshot, it's okay.
So for those of you who are just joining, we're going to do Shizuoka first, then the Claxtons, then the Dram Hunter, and the last two will be the Blackadder Blair Althal 13-year-old and the Blackadder Ben Rennes 15-year-old.
Okay, the Blackadder 13, I just poured some into a glass, and the bouquet just delicious slammed me in the face. No idea what it is, but I'm already looking forward to that.
Well, I had a different order originally because I hadn't tried this yet, but when we tasted it, I switched it around because I think it's a different cast than what I was led to believe. So,
what's the starting one now?
The Shizuoka, Japanese.
I don't have that one, just by the way. So.
With
that I don't have the S one. I only have.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
There should be 5 in the set or sent.
I just opened the box because I didn't want to touch it until then. And yeah. Oh no, you're right. I set it aside. Never mind. I set it on the wrong side.
Raj, Julius here uses whiskey char the barrel char to make his rubs. His barbecue rubs, yeah.
Yeah, so it's called Whiskey Grilling Time, and it's the char comes from Wilderness Trail.
Okay.
So they'll before they re-char, you know how like they take out that char that's inside. So they'll take that and send it to me, and I'll dry it, pulverize it to fine powder, and put it in my rub. It's really good.
You just have to start drinking Blackadder because every bottle has barrel char in it.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So when you're done with the whiskey, or you can just take. A lot of people will use some of the whiskey itself to make a marinade out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it'd be a good rub with all the char on there.
I use the white label and apple cider vinegar, half and half, to spray as I do my briskets and stuff.
Nice.
So yeah.
Which one is that, Jeff? Is that the Shizuoka?
No, this one is the Claxton.
Okay.
I'm not tasting them. I'm just looking at the.
No, I got it.
Glass.
All right, Ken, let me know when you want to start.
Yeah, wait, I'm just reading some messages.
At the farmer's market, somebody made a good current ceramic. It was really cool.
Oh wow, that is cool.
And it matches, it was funny, it matches my coffee cup that I got from my wife in Boston.
Wow.
But yeah, this is my tasting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Raj, you can start. I think they'll hop in. I mean, some are running late, I think. Yeah,
No worries. Hi, everyone. Welcome to round 2 of this tasting. My name is Raj Sabharwal, and I am one of the owners of Glass Revolution Imports. And tonight we are going to try 5 different whiskeys from my portfolio. 4 of them are actually from independent bottlers. The first one we're going to have is from a Japanese distillery called Shizuoka that was established in 2016. And it's in the beautiful mountainous area of Shizuoka, which is about an hour and a half train ride from Tokyo, going west-northwest, surrounded by green tea plantations and beautiful river running through it. It's just a beautiful, idyllic place to not only make whiskey but do anything. So we, as an importer, we are the sole source of bringing these all into the U.S. and then we sell to distributors across the country. So we're in 46 states, and then those distributors then turn around and sell to retailers and bars and restaurants, etc. So that's the whole fun of the 3-tier system in the U.S. that you need an importer to bring things in and then sell it to the distributor who then sells it on, and so forth. So your first whiskey is the Shizuoka Contact S. Shizuoka, as I said earlier, is a Japanese distillery. Contact S was their first batch release. So they have 2 stills. Before they started operation, Taiko, who's the owner, bought the old Karazawa distillery equipment. So all of the stills and everything else, he was able to salvage one of the stills. He had to change the burner in it, and he was able to keep the port mill, which he still uses to do all the grinding. The Karazawa still is steam heated, and the other still that he has is a wood-fired still. So they both sit side by side. They're clearly going to produce different styles of whiskey, different styles of distillate. So the Contact S is actually a marriage of distillates from the Karazawa still and from the wood-fired still. The Karazawa still is predominantly 100% Japanese barley. The wood-fired still, in this case, was a combination of peated and unpeated barley from Scotland, as well as some German beer malt.
I could taste the peat right away. I was like, that's unusual for a Japanese.
I could smell the peat before. I haven't tasted it yet.
You can. You can smell it.
I mean, it's not a heavy peat that's there. This is 155.5%, so 111 proof. Aged in first fill bourbon barrels and a little bit of quarter cask sherry barrel.
It sure doesn't drink like 111 proof at all.
It does not.
It's incredibly smooth.
Yeah, I can drink this all day.
Oh yes, you can. It's dangerous.
Oh, this is creamy. I love
Sorry,
it.
just give me 1 second. I'm just going to close the blind.
You have to hunt this stuff down.
This is, Steve, this is the next Yamazaki.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it is
This
good. It's really creamy. I like the subtle peat.
Yeah, it's like a smoked creme brulee right now for me.
Yeah, it is exactly.
I like the fact that it's over 100 proof as well. A lot of the Japanese whiskeys are too light for me.
They are.
Generally, yeah.
I was saying that earlier too. There's I was last year and this year I was approached by a number of Japanese distilleries that want to come into the U.S. market, and all of them are watering down their whiskeys. They're going to 43 or 40% ABV and just really diluting the product. And I just said I wasn't interested in that. So the lowest ABV that Shizuoka has done anything is at 50% or 100 proof, but most of them they tend to do the 110, 111 proof. This was the first release. We are sold out of this. There is some around. We only got 320 bottles, 330 bottles of it, and we have two new releases. One is the Karazawa still 100% Japanese barley, and the other one is the wood-fired pot still, which is a mixture of different barleys. And then we have three new ones that will be arriving in probably in August that I just ordered. But we only get a small amount of these. I mean, there's the demand for these.
What's the retail on this?
This one is about 160, I think.
Here in Chicago, it's $199.
$199. Okay.
Oh wow.
And
they need to make this again.
Is this a barrel?
This is worth.
straight out of the barrel.
This is not. This is a small batch. There was 5,000 bottles released worldwide. So it was a number of different barrels vatted together. But it's at 55.5%. So
wow, this is just amazing.
Yeah, that's it's very sandalwoody.
It's very sad that I can't even get it now. It's out there.
This is one of
I think there is some
Japanese
in
whiskeys
Tennessee.
I've had.
Steve, you might find some in the Nashville area.
Yeah, that's possible. Usually I have to get online to find some of this stuff.
Yeah.
I'll look for it.
Utah will never have this, so I have to go out.
Utah will not. In fact,
No.
we are not in Utah. I'm looking to get into Utah.
Yeah.
We're not going there.
Well, if you can send it on the radar, that'd be awesome. Or I come and pick it up. You're in Vegas, right?
No, we're head office in Vegas, but I actually live in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're a virtual company, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I got a PO box in Wyoming. If you could ship it.
Wyoming's state controlled, but they can order it.
Yeah. Or no, they can. I can receive. Like if
Okay.
I order from. So yeah. So as long as it goes to a PO box, I'm good.
Okay. Well, just go offline, send me a message offline, and we'll find out. So, but
definitely.
Jeff was saying something.
Yeah, Jeff was saying that this is one of the better Japanese whiskeys I've had. And my experience in Japanese isn't very deep, but this comes way in at the top end.
Yeah.
I think it nails it because it's got that flavor of hibiki, but it's also got the proof behind it and the creaminess and the butteriness and all of those things, right? It's the
that
things
creamy
that you miss from most.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all the things you miss from those lower proof Japanese whiskeys. It's
right.
What's the age on this?
3 years.
3 years. So this is like.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is, I've had some Japanese whiskeys that are in the higher like 10, 15, 20, and this tastes like that age. But I mean, for the price, I mean, the experience too. You're getting just the same if you're going to pay $300 to $1,000 for one of these things.
You're right. Well, here's somebody was asking about single barrels of Shizuoka. So Blackadder did 2 of them. This one, there was only 177 bottles and 61.1% ABV, and the other one was 199 bottles and 64.9% ABV.
Oh wow!
So 130 proof. And we only got 12 bottles of one and 18 bottles of the other one. But I've got one of each. And those are pretty rare. So, but that was your introduction. That's the only direct distillery bottling we're going to taste tonight. Everything else we're going to have are from independent bottlers. So, for those of you who may not know, independent bottlers buy barrels from distilleries or through brokers, and then they decide when to bottle it. Sometimes they will take it and re-rack it into another barrel to mature it further, or let it sit there longer before they decide to bottle it. Usually they will bottle as a single barrel and a cask strength. But there are, like Gordon MacPhail often does, a vatting of different casks and would bottle, at lower alcohol, but single barrel. So the next one up is Claxton's. Claxton's is a independent bottler located in the lowlands of Scotland near Dumfries. We used to work with them a number of years ago and then stopped because they weren't being consistent in what they were offering, and also they had these big square bottles that took up a lot of space. So we recently went back to working with them. This is from, all it says on it is Claxton's Orkney Islands. But if you look at if you can read it on the center where it says Claxton's, it looks like a compass. If you Google the actual compass points, it will lead you to the distillery. So in this case, it says Orkney Islands, but they were not allowed to name the distillery on there. But using the compass points, it tells you what the distillery is. So from Orkney, there's going to be probably one of two distilleries that it could be.
Cough, cough, Highland Park.
Wow, this is like the smell is like rhubarb strawberry pop for me. It's real sweet.
This is a bottle of 50%,
pineapple
100
off
proof,
that nose too.
and it is a single. I think it's a single barrel. 8 years old.
Oh, the noses. I could just sit here for days for the nose. It's a lot of citrus fruit.
A lot of citrus, a lot of fruit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
A hint of the sea. You got the hint of the sea in the background.
Yeah,
Like
you do, and
sea.
it's not. I mean, sometimes Highland Park can have a little more peat level, but this doesn't. It has a little bit.
Yeah, I can smell just a little peat, and that's it.
Is there peat in it?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About less than 15 ppm.
I can get the saltiness, the sea air in there.
Really, the peat is just an after faint.
It's
It's just really, really.
It's like settled in the back at the finish.
Yes.
Right there as it lingers.
Yeah.
They're getting some good.
I'm not usually a fan of peat at all, and I can drink this. This is tasty.
Yeah, it's super light, and even the other one was really light peated, and it was really good. I mean, the Japanese one. So
getting some good saline off this.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
The more I sip it, the more pronounced it becomes.
Yeah. And I'm getting like a lot of like sweet smoke, like really nice sweet wood smoke sitting on the tongue. But it's got a lot of nice honeycomb and vanilla on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to?
Yeah. And everyone here has probably had Highland Park, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's nice when you get a single barrel off it, and it's.
Oh yeah.
This is just stunning. What's retail on this?
Let me check, Jeff. I'll send you a note back. I think it's 100-ish.
And And feels very refined and very finished for a 8-year-old. Very rounded.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Yeah. Once we're done, Jeff, I'll send you a note on it.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Any other thoughts on it?
I like it. I would buy it.
Is this that? Yeah. What's the price point on this?
It's around 100, around the 100 range. I'll let me just check, and I'll actually, if I minimize this, I can probably find out.
For an 8-year.
I just gotta look at my notes and find out.
This is unique. This is nothing I've tasted out of that, like a Highland. I like it.
Not at all.
I know. I knew it. It felt very familiar, but I wasn't able to nail it too.
This is definitely a dessert whiskey right there, like end of.
Yeah, I mean it's so
dinner.
subtle and sweet. Yeah, I would never have thought this was a Highland.
Yeah, well, if you think that's a dessert whiskey, wait till we get to some of the other ones.
Something wrong with Sean.
Something what?
No, Sean is hopping in and out. I think he has some connection issues.
Okay, so this is retails about 110 on
Thank
it.
you. I'd pay that all day long.
Yep.
Yep, me too. This is beautiful.
And we did not. I know we didn't get a lot. The Shizuoka Contact S. I think Kyan said it was $200 at Benny's in Chicago. Suggested retail is about $230 on it. Okay. Are we ready to move to the third whiskey?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Okay, so we're going to have the Dram Hunters 15-year-old Strathmill. Dram Hunters is our own label. So those are barrels that we buy, or we bought over a period of time, and we decide when to bottle it. So every year they're all warehoused in the Lowlands in Scotland. Every year we get samples from the barrel and taste it and try to decide whether or not it's ready to be bottled. So this one we purchased, I think, about 5 years ago maybe, and I've been sitting on it trying to decide when to bottle it. And when I tasted it last year, I said it's ready to be bottled.
Getting a lot of fennel on the nose.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
I get a lot of like wood shop. Wood shop and barbecue.
Yeah, there's some barbecue in there. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Very chewy.
It's
Very chewy. So this is this is 55.9%, and there were 248 bottles out of the barrel. So this is a single barrel release.
This is like a English tea. Like I don't know, I get a tea taste to it when I taste it.
It does.
Well, it's got a very thick mouthfeel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thick and a long finish. You know, like a nice. It's like a pleasant burn. That's not strong or overpowering.
Call it a zing.
Zing. Yeah.
A zing. Yeah, just zings down.
Did
it's almost like
have you all had Strathmill before?
Never.
I've had
it.
No.
It's almost a citrus peel
Yeah.
almost flavor on the back of the tongue, isn't it?
Yeah, I can see that.
It's funny you mentioned that.
Especially
It
when you
almost
breathe
tastes-
it in. The
Yeah,
citrus
it's almost
peel.
like
like
when
if you
you
bite
buy an orange
when
peel.
you try to
Yeah,
peel it.
exactly. Yep.
Blood
Yeah.
orange. Blood orange.
Yes. That's what
It's
I'm getting.
Not
with it,
just
yeah.
not just an orange, like that blood orange, like a little more sweet to it.
I was trying to figure that out. I kept tasting it. I was like, what is that? I know I've tasted it.
Who
Boy,
said
this is
fennel?
a
Somebody said
monster
fennel, right?
finish. It's just not ending.
I don't know if anybody has ever had the cocktail of like a Scotch old fashioned, but I get that from this. Just straight.
Because it's almost got a smokiness too, as well, and a sweetness. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it
That is
has
kind
like
of odd,
sweet
as you
smoke
say
kind
that.
of notes on there.
Because that barbecue note I was talking about, it brings all that in at the end.
Raj, what is the age on this? 5 years, you said?
It's
no, this is 15.
15, yeah.
Yeah, single barrel.
Or does this just have a monster finish to it? It just keeps building.
Yeah,
I
mean, I didn't think having it sit for another year or two before we bottle it would do anything else to it. So that's why I decided to bottle it now.
I'm even picking up some oakiness or something that you
a
get
little bit
from it, at the end too.
Definitely oaks. I think when you say oak, you get a little vanilla. I feel some vanilla there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, definitely.
That's interesting.
And then this will be, I think, about 180 retail.
Thank you.
Okay. Yep.
How many bottles are out?
248.
Jeez.
Limited. Damn.
Yes, they're all very limited.
Single barrels. That's it's all limited. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Got to jump on it.
Nature of the beast.
That's it. So I always tell people, single barrel. Once they're gone, they're gone. That's it. So never to
That's
be
why
repeated.
I honestly don't understand what the whole Buffalo Trace things with all these BST is. The single barrels are where they're worth more because they're the one and they're gone.
Yeah. That's it.
Absolutely.
So Raj, are they aged here in the US, the 5 years, or in Scotland?
15 years, all in Scotland.
All in Scotland. Okay.
Yeah, you have to. You can't. In order for it to be labeled as Scotch, it has to be aged and bottled in Scotland.
So do you guys travel there and blend it?
No, this was not blended. This is a single barrel. This was
single barrel. Oh, that's right.
We purchased we purchased this about 5 years ago, and like I said, I taste it every year and decide when to bottle it. So last year, I decided it was ready to be bottled.
That's awesome.
But we taste it every year. So we've got I got old samples sitting here that
How much time do
go
you
back
get
and look
in
at it over the
between-
last 5 years how it evolved?
So how much time is it in between, when they send you a sample and you say, hey, I think it's ready, is it a matter of a couple of months in between shipping sample to you tasting, you getting notice back, and then it gets bottled, or is it almost?
Yeah, usually it's usually when we ask the samples to be pulled, it's probably a month before we get them, and then by the time we give them so last year we gave them the order to bottle in June, and it wasn't bottled until September. So it did spend some more time in there, but it wasn't something that I thought would benefit from an extra year. I thought it was nicely balanced, and and there's always a danger too as it sits there. You're going to lose. One of the things about aging in Scotland is you will continue to lose alcohol, right? You're not going to lose so much of the quantity because the damp air is going to pick up more alcohol because it's lighter than taking water out.
Right.
I get that. I get a little coastal at the end too. Ocean breeze right there. Ocean spray.
Yeah.
No, this is very layered. Many layers, very complex.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. And how long it lasts. I mean, this is one you just sit back in the backyard, chill, and just experience it.
Yeah, especially that honeycomb and vanilla continues to last. It coats the tongue, and it's there. It's a nice, pleasant finish on there.
And for the price point for 15 years, that's a great price.
It is.
Yeah. Nowadays.
Raj, Benny's does not carry it.
I don't think so, but I'm going to take a sample to Brett and next week and have him try it, and I'm sure he'll bring it in. So
yeah, sure.
Yeah. I'll take him this and our canvas as well. So yeah,
it seems we're doing the same thing.
When you're here, I'll introduce you to someone from Tony's Liquor.
Okay.
It's a really old. It's about 100-year-old family-owned liquor store.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll be interested. He has that kind of clientele.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
Okay, guys, the nose on this next one, if you thought it's been good before, wow.
Is it the 13, right? The 13?
Yeah, you talk about, I don't even want to drink this. All I want to do is smell it.
So this is interesting because I had not tried this until the prior session. And I had it in a different order, but because it does not say anywhere, nor was I told that this was any kind of cask other than a hogshead cask.
And I say this is, oh my God.
Having
this
tried
is like
it, it's definitely a sherry hogshead that this is in.
Boy, you could.
I call this a breakfast whiskey.
Yeah. So this is
French toast.
13-year-old Blair Athol. It was distilled July 10th, 2009 and bottled in October of last year. 291 bottles, 52.1%. So 102 proof.
Yeah, this is.
The nose for me was all fruitcake.
Right here.
Oh, that's delicious.
I mean, it's
that's delicious.
Caramel covered fresh strawberries with vanilla and bubble gum, and wow.
It is.
It's like you order a French toast with all of the fruits on it and dress it with the salt. Oh, it's a breakfast whiskey. I call this the breakfast whiskey. It's beautiful.
And for
wow, it is.
For that high strength, and especially for like a Highland whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the nose is the same as the taste. It's just
okay.
Oh, yeah, it's super sweet.
Understand what I'm saying here. I don't smoke. After sipping this, I need a cigarette.
Yeah, cigar. This is perfect. You dip this at the end of a cigar right here, and you enjoy it.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. That's what you do, because I usually do that. Like either rum or whiskey, you dip the end when you smoke out, and you get that sweet taste as you're taking in a little smoke. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I don't smoke, so.
Good for that. Yeah.
You're missing out, guys. You're missing out.
So Benny's does have this, so.
Yeah, Benny's has this.
What's the retail on this one, bad boy?
I will tell you in 1 second.
Basically, I'd be ordering from you.
Yeah, unfortunately you can't, but.
Oh, okay. Well, wherever I can get it.
I wish you could, but.
We'll never tell.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you won't tell, but it's
Oh no, there's still prohibition laws that are like from the 1930s still going around.
Oh, there are.
I mean, the finish on this is like strawberry shortcake.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Benny's is at 140.
It smells just like strawberries, fresh cut up strawberries.
140 is a good price. So we I bought all of this for the US, so we still have about 10 cases left of it. So.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to Benny's this weekend.
Somebody ordered for me and sent it to me.
Good.
Yes. I have no Benny's around here.
I might have it in my
I have
cart.
to be in Milwaukee Saturday morning. It's not that far to a Benny's.
Yeah.
Hey, which one are you going to?
Oh,
the
me?
one that's closest to Benny, the one that's closest to Milwaukee.
I think the one in Gurney.
Gurney?
Yeah.
Gurney is the closest to Jeff. Yeah.
You'll have to have them ship it in because I don't think they'll necessarily have it because, I mean, most of this stuff ends up at Marcy.
Man, this is good.
That doesn't mean they can't bring it in. So.
Yeah, you're right, Raj. Both only Lincoln Park and the only Lincoln Park store and Lakeview store carries this.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I will if anyone's coming on Thursday to Benny's World of Whiskeys, I will be pouring this.
This is delicious. Somebody help me get it to Utah.
Sean, are you going to be there? World of Whiskeys. Do you want to go there?
I didn't know about it. When is it?
Thursday, next
Thursday. No, next Thursday. Yeah, that's probably doable for me. You said it's at Benny's, like it's gonna be the large one.
The Lincoln Park,
Lincoln Park.
Yeah, Lincoln Park. All right.
So the public event is 5 to 8, I think.
Oh, sounds doable. Yeah, I'd be interested if you want to go.
Yeah, sure. We'll plan it out. Yeah, because I'm. Are you coming for Distill Illinois on Tuesday?
You're asking me? No, I don't. I didn't know about it.
Okay, I'll let you know. I'll send you some. I'll send you the info.
I owe it to Raj to say hello and shake his hand after this so far. So this has been an incredible tasting.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it. All right. So before we turn to the last one, what's everyone's favorite so far?
That one.
Mine is Dram Hunters, followed by Shizuoka, and then it was Shizuoka, but Dram Hunters blew me. I've never had Dram Hunters before, so
I think mine is probably this one and the Shizuoka probably are the two. I don't know which one's one, which one's two, but
I'm the same.
I really like that Japanese. That
Japanese is
really.
No, Japanese is very special. It's in a class of its own. It's a different category.
It is. That's like, man.
I guess I'm the odd man out. I want the Blair Atoll.
Yeah. I think for me, the Japanese stands out. Like I said before, is simply the proof. The proof is what is missing. I feel like from most Japanese whiskeys, and that's the one thing that I say. Like I'm like, oh, this tastes good, but it needs more. It's no different than like regular Blanton's or like the Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel. I'm like, yeah, it tastes fine, but it's just it's missing something, and it's proof. It needs more heat to it.
And the other thing is that most of this Roosevelt is a Japanese barley, which is really rare to have, and it's a richer, produces a richer distillate, lower yield though, but you get richer spirit coming out of it. So that's and
definitely
nobody
can take
else
the richness,
as far as I know, is using Japanese barley.
Yeah, and that you can definitely get the richness out of it. It's got that like buttery vanilla.
That's
almost
the long
like
filtrate. I mean, they're fermenting for about 140 plus hours.
Oh wow! Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, so you definitely get that buttery vanilla, almost like a very light homemade whipped cream in a sense, where it's not very sweet, but you got that subtleness. It's super good.
Thank you. Yeah.
I would say the 15 and that Dram and the Japanese.
15 or 13?
No, you're talking about the Dram Hunters, the 15-year-old.
Dram Hunters, yeah.
Yeah, that Dram Hunters was good too. Man.
Yeah. Speaking of 15, we'll close with the Blackadder 15-year-old Ben Rittis Barbados rum finish. So the Barbados rum in this case is Foursquare.
Really?
A couple of years ago, Blackadder bottled a cask of Foursquare. I think it was a 14-year-old Foursquare that
I had that
he brought in, and then he put the
that
Ben
smells
Rittis
fantastic
into that empty barrel to finish off.
I might have to change my favorite. I'm a Foursquare fan. That's like the Pappies of rum right there.
That's what they say. Yeah.
Oh wow, the nose.
The nose on that is a
lot of peppermint.
It's like waffles in a cup to me.
This is a Christmas whiskey right here.
Yeah, 54.2%, and there were 260 bottles, and this one is about 165.
God, I like this one a lot.
It's weird because I get a little bit of peat, but it like instantly disappears and turns into like just a sweet finish.
Yeah. I think that peat is there's no peat. It's just the barrel char that you're getting.
It almost reminds me of honeycomb cereal, the sweetness from the honeycomb cereal.
That's why I said like waffles in a cup.
That's what it is. Yeah. Man, I love that.
I'm a little different because I'm taking like more of the Christmas where you get the orange cranberry and like that smell and taste. I get the
almost
citrus
like
more. Maybe because I
almost like a homemade cranberry sauce where you got like the cranberries in there and then you get the orange zest.
Orange zest, yeah.
It's just really
but then you're
though.
heating it. But with cinnamon, my wife does this and she heats it up and it smells just like this. Like it's crazy. I get the complete different.
Well, the finish is incredible. The finish, you really
it is.
You really get that rum notes on the finish. Like it just coats the front of your mouth.
Oh yeah.
With that, and as all if like Foursquare, Richard's not adding any sugar or anything else to his rums, right? This is all natural.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't get anything overly sweet at all.
Right.
It's really nicely balanced.
Pine?
What's that, Jeff?
I don't get
anything. Are you getting pine?
At all.
Pine.
Right.
I'm getting a little wood. Yeah, I'm getting a little woodiness. Yeah.
The cranberry.
On the nose, I'm getting more of that pininess than on the palate. Little pine or like evergreen, eucalyptus.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It was like that whole thing that she does that heats up and smells the house for Christmas. It's cranberry, pine, orange, and just like a water. It's all in mix, and I get all the way through.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I love this one. This is good. All of them are good. Big expensive buy right now.
Yes, it would.
You don't need a car.
There you go. Yeah, it's got a little bit of that rum funk on the finish, which is
it does,
which is nice. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's nice.
It is that funk. I know that from Foursquare. But it has like a bourbon funk, rum funk. You get that at the end.
Yeah, somebody in the last session was talking about the Bardstown that they just released that they finished in Barbados rum cask and Foursquare rum cask. But I think they I don't know how long they let it in there, but that has a lot more rum flavors in there than this does.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, it seems there's not a bad one in the group.
No,
there's not. They're all good. I like them all.
I buy them all right now. But good.
This has such a long finish. Like I was gonna take a drink, and I was just like, no, just let it go. And then 30 seconds later, I'm still just like, let it go.
I am still at the Blair Atoll being the number one.
Okay.
But these are all very good. And somebody else said there's not a bad one in this bunch.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, there's not.
But I would bathe in this Blair Atoll.
I break the bank on this whole tasting.
That's a strange bath, man.
All right, so Jeff's number one is the Blair Athol.
Yeah.
Steve, what's yours?
I really like that Japanese, but the second one I think is that I really like is that Dram. It keeps coming back on me. I do like that Dram Hunter too, and I really like this one I just did. I like them all. I don't know. No, they're all. I mean, if I seen any one of them on the shelf now, I would definitely buy them. I mean, they're really that good.
Yeah,
and I definitely would share. And I have a lot of people over on the weekends, and we break out a lot of stuff. And I would definitely break those out. That would go over well.
Great, thanks, Roosevelt.
I think for me, it's going to be Japanese, the rum finish, and then the 13-year.
Japanese Ben
in
Rennes,
that order.
and then the Blair Athol.
Yep.
Okay. Sean?
I'd say definitely Blair Athol for me, number one. The Shizuoka I was late to the party on, so it's kind of end caps for me. I get a ton of like Cassia bark on it without it being artificial or even intended, which is really interesting to me because you don't normally want anything that's cinnamon like. I guess for the most part people don't. Many things I have just turned down, like Starlight has a cigar blend that has released 3 Benny's picks, and number 1 was just a complete drain pour for me. I don't normally want this, but the Shizuoka is so incredibly interesting and different. It's hard to say because I love the Dram Hunters. Like the viscosity is just really interesting. It's creamy. It's got a great finish, and it's a complete package. Like picking between these 5 is incredibly difficult. But I mean, I have to go with the Blair Athol because it's just overall the most unique experience. I think we look for unique experiences and new experiences, and it stands out the most in that.
Great.
What do
Jeff, what about you?
I thought I gave my number 1.
Jeff already said. Jeff went with Blair Athol as the number 1.
You want the rest of the order?
Yeah, please.
Sure. Number 2 was the Claxtons. Number 3 was the Japanese. Number 4 was the Dram Chaser, and number 5 was the last one that we just had. But that shouldn't be a knock on number 5. They're all very good.
Thanks, Jeff. And we're just missing. Whiskey Grilling. Can't remember.
Julius. Yeah, Julius.
I was going to call you Julienne, but it's Julius.
No worries. It's hard. God, they're like within minute percents of how close they are, but I'll have to go. The Japanese really surprised me because of the fact, again, you don't see a lot of high proof with Japanese out there, and just the uniqueness of it. And then coming around second is that Dram Hunter. That is, for the price and for the taste, it's awesome.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Dram Hunter. I mean, Dram Hunter surprised me. I wasn't expecting it to beat Shizuoka, but Shizuoka, for its uniqueness, and as Julius rightly said, you seldom get to try Japanese whiskeys in that range, barrel proof range almost. Third for me is Blair Athol. Fourth is the Claxtons, and the last is the Foursquare rum finish.
So people are different places, but it sounds like the Shizuoka and the Blair Athol were pretty much in the top 2 for most people. But everyone thought that there was not a bad one in the bunch. So that's
not a bad one now.
Yeah.
Oh, Robert joined the party.
You did well with this.
Sorry, guys, I'm running a little behind. I got a 4-year-old.
Okay.
I know how that goes.
That's okay. We're on the first one.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We were actually just wrapping up. So,
Robert, have you tried any of these whiskeys before?
No, I was waiting, for this event, but you guys finished them all?
Yeah, if you want the order that we did them in, it's the Shizuoka first, the Japanese.
Okay.
Then we did the Claxton's Orkney. Then we did the Dram Hunter. And then the Blackadder 13-year-old Blair Athol.
Finished with the 15.
Blackadder 15-year-old Ben Rennes.
Got it. So you didn't mix them all together and just drink them with a straw?
Yeah, that's later. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, later, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the start of everyone's infinity bottle.
I do
got one of
apologize.
those going.
But everyone enjoyed. I think they enjoyed them all. So
There's not a bad one.
Yeah. I'm sorry I'm late, but the first one's pretty fantastic. So if they get better from there, life is good.
And they do.
Yeah, we'll
Although
stay
that
with
first
you.
one was very good. Yeah.
The first time, Raj, I tried Shizuoka. The Beninese guy said, Ken, you have to try this. One of the store associates said, he poured me some. He didn't tell me what whiskey it was. I said, Ken, you just try it blind. And I tried it and I said, get me a bottle of this. He says, are you serious? And he's been trying to sell me Japanese whiskey for the last couple of years now. And he didn't tell me this was a Japanese one. And then I tried, I said, which? He said, I've never heard of it. He said, you won't repent. And then I walk home with the bottle and then I tell Sean about it. Shizuoka. He says, let's split it.
Who at Benny's told you this?
He no longer works for Beninese now.
Oh.
He's with Garfield's now.
Okay.
Ben. So he usually, I don't go for one of, he initially thought I was one of the taters. He used to set aside those special Buffalo Trace bottles. I said, I don't want any of those. Show me. Yeah. I mean, me and Sean, we've shopped a couple of times together. We never shop for the routine stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to send him overpriced Springbank just for fun.
Yeah.
Well, we have a Blackadder 27-year-old Springbank.
Oh,
sherry, aged
is
in
it
sherry
out
the
yet?
entire time.
Is it out yet?
It's we'll be here at the end of the month.
Okay.
$1,800 a bottle.
Yeah, I'm gonna get enough.
I'll be waiting for that box to come in the mail.
You want to go halvesies?
Yeah,
Just
sure.
get the case.
Three Z's.
You see this?
Let's go Dramsies.
No.
Yeah, we're only getting 24 bottles, and most of them are already gone.
I have been on Springbank much before it was news here in America. I think I've been a Springbank fan for a better part of last decade or so.
Yeah, it's getting tougher and tougher to get them, and they're not selling anymore to independent bottlers, so it's really rare to get that.
Yeah, because post-COVID, I think they've had a couple of mishaps in the distillery. They lost a few people there due to COVID. So their production is really tight now.
Well, it's up and running. I mean, they're running back-to-back schools. I mean, I think I've had like 15 of people I know go through it this year already, the Springbank schools.
So let me know when you're getting the 27 Blackadder.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll sneak one from wherever they're going.
Yeah.
Are all you guys in the liquor business, and I'm the oddball out here, or is this?
Oh no, nobody is. Jeff is in liquor business, and Raj is in liquor business. Sean is a techie.
I am affiliated, but I don't sell.
Well, we're all affiliated, right?
Jeff, you're in liquor business, right? I always thought you were in. No, okay.
Jeff is a reviewer, writer, blogger.
Oh no, I know that, but I also thought he ran a consulting, sales and
no, not sales. It's consulting.
Oh, just consulting. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
no, I have nothing to do with sales.
Yeah, and so, Robert, I import all of these. So everything you're tasting, I'm the U.S. importer for them.
Got it. Well, they're fantastic. The first one was great. I haven't even moved on yet. But I appreciate
You're drinking
that.
Whiskey Raj.
Yeah.
Nice. That's great. How
Those
often-
3 months that I was not drinking, I felt like I don't know, piece of S. So I was like,
you don't think it would be really interesting hearing what Robert thinks about these, not having seen it or tasted these as a group.
oh yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
interesting.
go for it.
Oh yeah,
You're
that's
on the
not
spot.
That's not
You're on
putting
the
me on the
spot.
spot at all, Sean. Thanks. Okay, I'm happy to go through that if you guys really want to hear it.
I'd be very happy to hear it.
Okay, I'm going to warn you. At some point during this demonstration, a 4-year-old may tear in here and decide she wants to try something or give me a kiss. So I'm just
That's
warning
my
you.
6-year-old.
That's great.
He'll
Yeah.
dip a finger and want to have one.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
All right, this first one, Shizuoka. I don't know how to say it. I like it. What I like about it is that I can taste the peat in there, but it's not overpowering. It's not like a Ardbeg or a Lagavulin where it's like kicking you when you're down with that peatiness. It's subtle, like most Japanese whiskeys tend to be, but it's subtle in a way that still reflects that kind of like Scottish. It tastes like Scotch, you know. It still has that, but it's not overpowering.
So it's interesting you picked up those notes because you missed the introduction to Shizuoka. It's a small Japanese distillery. They have 2 stills. One is one of the old Karazawa distillery stills, which is steam fired, and then they have a wood fired still. This is the Contact S, so it's a blend of distillates from both stills.
Okay.
The Karazawa still was all Japanese barley that was used in this run, and the wood fired still had a combination of peated and unpeated Scottish barley, and a little bit of German beer malt.
I'm not picking up to me, and everyone's palate's different. I don't pick up the malt as much as I do that slight undertone of peat, and I think it's good. It's smooth. You know, I don't think I would pay $1,800 or whatever the 27.
No, this one's
was
$200, but it's
good.
It's 55.5%, so 111 proof, and it's a 3-year-old whiskey.
All right, we have Claxton's next.
Claxton's is from Orkney Islands. It doesn't have the name of the distillery on it, but it has the geographical compass point. So if you Google that, it will tell you that it's Highland Park. So it's an 8-year-old single barrel Highland Park at 50% ABV.
I feel like I'm totally on the spot. So if I'm off base in any of these, just tell me I'm an idiot.
No, you're the first one. You were spot on. So
Anything you say is good because it's your own take and your own sense.
I appreciate
guys.
that.
See ya.
You guys are all texting each other like this guy's a moron.
Can you see my screen?
Oh yeah.
This one definitely different taste completely. I don't pick up on the peat that the first one had. It's almost, I want to say earthy. That might not be the right term for it, but it definitely has a very different direction than the first one. The first one was that subtle Japanese feel. This one feels more almost like a cross between a subtle Scotch and a bourbon to me. There's almost sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that the logo, it really, on the top where it gives the degrees, it really gives you that lion, whatever dragon, tells you where that's coming from too.
Right at the top, it's actually the where Claxton's is located, where their warehouse is. But it's the one.
No. I'm saying
tells you where
the
it is.
center port. Yeah, the dragon logo. Yeah. That's easy. I'm looking at it going, I know that.
I know this is weird, and I don't know if anybody else got this tasting note, but I almost, and I'm sure it's not actually there, I almost taste some agave. Like
I understand that, and that's where you're getting the earthy note from. I think as the kind of the root is you're kind of associating with agave. I can see that.
It's not tequila. I understand that completely, but it definitely has like that flavor profile to it a little bit.
No, as an agave drinker, I drink a lot of different mezcals, and I understand where you're coming from there.
Yeah, it's sort of that grassy, earthy notes that you would get from agave spirits, especially more like Sotal.
Mm-hmm. There's this terrible Polish bison grass thing. I don't know if anyone's seen that. It's like a Polish vodka.
Yeah.
You know, they serve it next to Spiritus as a chaser. It's still 60 proof or something. I almost have taste like notes of that in there, but that's that agave piece to it.
Okay.
Grassiness.
That's a Vibro vodka or something like that. It's called.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bison grass. Yeah.
There's like Z's and B's. I'm Polish, so I can mock the language. So it's fun. I've moved on to Dram Hunters, and I'm picking up on some berry notes in this guy. Yeah, like big time.
So it's a single barrel, 15-year-old Strathmill. Dram Hunters is my own label. It's barrels that we buy and sit on and decide when to bottle. So we bought this about 4 years ago, and last year decided to bottle it.
It's
many of us want to know where to get it.
We know. Yeah, that's good. Different. Kind of.
Well, I'll bring a sample of this with me and give it to Brett and tell me there's people who want it and bring it in.
Yes.
Yeah, the viscosity on that is just fantastic.
Should be the first bottle you bring into Utah.
All I need is a broker. I need a broker for Utah. So
I'll find. Well, it's a state, so I'll figure out who the state guy is.
All right.
Good luck with Utah. Cheers!
I know.
Cheers if you're trying to infiltrate that.
I do have a connection in Wyoming that I can bring in. Just
where are you, Robert?
I'm in Illinois.
Naperville.
Okay.
Yep.
Naperville.
So
cool.
You're Park Ridge, Sean, right?
Yep. Yeah, we got like a good triangle between you, Kyan, and I.
Okay. I'm definitely not in Utah. That's for sure.
I'm a little different. I'm the barbecue guy here, so
that's good.
It's okay. I spent half my life in Texas. I can relate.
Where in Texas are you from? Or
Dallas area.
Okay.
I'm originally from Newport Beach, so I'm a transplant into Utah.
There you go. I have family in Plano, basically. So.
Oh yeah,
nice.
yeah.
I know Dallas well.
Yeah, I know Plano.
So Julius is my former neighbor, and Sean is my current. Sean and Robert are my current neighbors.
Right. And where are you? You're up north, right?
I'm in Wilmette.
Okay.
Almost. I'm in the northwest Evanston, which borders Wilmette, but just the next street is Wilmette.
I want to say while I have a moment. Thank you for shipping this over to me. You know,
Absolutely.
Awesome idea, and quite frankly, I didn't think it was actually going to be legit, because you never know until you do it, right? So thank you for doing what you're doing to make this sort of thing happen.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And also, Raj, thank you as well for providing some of this. It's incredible imports, man. It's
Raj has got. I mean, have you guys tried Waterford?
That's the Irish, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't import that anymore.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No.
And Robert, I have good news. This next one is going to be interesting.
I just tried it. I need a minute.
Yeah, you do.
Give me a minute here to process. Wow.
That's the Blackadder Blair Athol.
Yeah, the 13.
Yeah. So this is interesting, Robert, because it's Blair Athol. It's a Highland distillery, and it says it's aged in a hogshead, but there's no further information that was given to us. But when I tried it earlier, and honestly, it's the first time I've tried it today. I swear, and I think everyone else agreed that it was most likely a sherry cask.
Yeah, I picked up on that right away.
And PX sherry at that. I'm 100% sure it's PX.
But it's the sherry hits me up front, and then it subsides into something different that I can't wrap my brain around or my palate around what it actually is. It's almost like an oaky flavor in there, but not like an overpowering oak. It's more of just like Widow Jane made a rye at some point that had a very kind of woodsy feel to it without being peaty, if that makes sense. It's almost like walking into a lumber yard.
Yeah,
that's kind of like the subtleties I get at the end of this.
That's what I said.
Robert, what's your house drink?
I'm sorry?
What's your house drink?
What's my house drink? What do I drink normally?
Yeah.
I too much? Is that
I'm with you, Robert. Same way.
I'm a Manhattan guy, and I typically start with a Manhattan, and then I just evolve into just some bourbon. I do like scotches. I depending on the season, I go peatier in the fall and the winter, just because for some reason that's how I roll. And then a little bit lighter, like Glenlivets and things like that, in the spring and summer, if I'm going Scotch. But yeah, I'm a big bourbon guy.
Julius, you're more of a peat guy, right, Julius?
I'm all around, but peat is lovely.
Yeah, but I see most of your posts with peated whiskeys.
They tend to be that way, and it's funny. When I first had peat, it was Ardbeg, and then it hit me like a brick. I didn't like it, but then I did a cigar.
Now you say Ardbeg, I'll pour me some.
Oh no, yeah. What I was saying is, I took a cigar and smoked the cigar with Ardbeg, and then I started taking the sweetness because it took the smoke away. And then now I'm just a peat head altogether.
Julius, is it? I'm sorry. I'm trying to. It's been a long day.
No worries.
What is that measure that they measure peatiness with? I've read about it. What is it?
Parts per million. The phenol level for the peat. So there's most whiskeys, they measure the phenols when the barley is malted, when it's peated, which is not really accurate about what you're going to get in the bottle. Because, for example, Octomore, if it's 190 or 220 or whatever, ppm. There's no way it's that when it's bottled because you wouldn't be able to drink it.
Sure.
So peat, once you peat barley, the phenolic level starts to drop off immediately after it's peated, and you lose more during distillation, and then as it matures, the phenols drop off as well.
Got it.
So there's a couple of distilleries I know that actually measure pre-bottling, so they will label the phenol levels at bottling.
Well, like Ardbeg or whatever, they have to do that, right? Because there's one that's at like 600.
No, 50.
No, that's Octomore is the highest
one, yeah.
peated level that they disclose. They're the ones that super peaty, but again, it's not accurate because it's not really what it is.
It all boils down to your taste as well, because one peat could be extremely peat to you, to the other guy like me. Oh no, that's like barbecue sweet pork to me, right? Yep. It's all about your experience. So you try to find, and that's me. I'm always, because I'm everywhere with whiskey, and then when it comes to peat too, I always try to different things. And lately, I think it's with the skull on it, skull head or something like that. Smokehead. Smokehead's been my favorite lately right now. So, but it's anybody's game.
I mean, it really depends on if you're using Isla peat or mainland peat.
Yeah,
Isla peat because it's going to have more plankton, seaweed, saltiness.
Briny.
So it's going to be more briny, more medicinal. Whereas if you go mainland peat, you're going to get more woody, earthy, sweet smoke, barbecue pork belly kind of flavors.
Yeah,
I started off in Lag 16, which was one of the biggest mistakes of my life. And I want to say it was 6 or 7 years before I was even brave enough to go with peat again. Wow. And Lag 16 is one of my favorites right now.
Yeah.
I've had several Octomores. They may, in theory, be the peatiest, but there's other stuff that's
way peatier.
Yeah, way peatier, and I would throw any Ardbeg against it.
My favorite peat is up there. Oh, sorry.
Can't see it.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's Port Charlotte.
I love Port Charlotte.
I've never had it. I'll have to try it.
I love Port Charlotte. I mean, I've the entire
we'll have a single barrel of Port Charlotte coming in later this year.
Oh, wow. I love Port Charlotte. Oh, that'll be interesting.
Is it accessible or no?
Oh, Port Charlotte, the core range is, but the cask exploration is limited release.
Right.
Yeah, the core ranges are very easy to get a hold of, and they're very affordable.
Oh yeah, and $60, $70.
Yeah, like the classic laddie stuff like that.
No, but classic laddie is not peated.
No. I'm just saying the stuff that comes out of Brookline. But yeah.
They're very affordable. Even the Port Charlotte 10 is about $70, $70 or $80.
Yeah.
I mean, so Raj, you should know.
They use mainland peat. They're not using Isla peat.
Raj, you should know. Julius organizes whiskey dinners. He has prefixed menus, and it's a very interesting concept. He does it in his backyard every weekend, right?
It's starting this next month in July. I do. It's like my name, Whiskey Grilling Time. So I pair whiskeys with barbecue, and I invite like 15 to 20 people, limited, because obviously I don't want to work too hard. I want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because I own my own catering business. But so in Utah they have those so-called liquor laws. So I ask people to
in air quotes,
right? Donate me $60 for like a 5 to 7 flight spread with some meat, and then we just sit there. And I actually did one. Speaking of peat, I did a surf and turf with a flight of peated whiskey, and it was amazing. Everybody loved it.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
And he does some real good whiskeys. I was surprised. I mean, the kind of whiskeys he does is like hunting, worth hunting for. Yeah.
Oh, I get things that are like out there.
I don't know how he manages to get those in Utah, but he does.
So
I
there's
traveled
another
with-
reason to go to Utah besides the snow.
Yeah,
exactly. Just call
And
me
that's
up.
the only one.
he sent me some rub which got all used up last season. Amazing rub. Honestly, I was going to order some more from him. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually making a new batch. It's coming out. It's the same whiskey barrel, but I'm making a Korean barbecue.
Raj, would you have access
That
to
sounds amazing.
Amrut's char from Amrut's barrel?
I can get it. Yeah,
that'll
If
be
you get it,
interesting.
I'll make it.
yeah
So-
I'm sure I can get it. So I'll talk to him about it.
So I tried the last one, just so you guys know.
Yep.
To me, that's a more traditional, less peaty Scotch, where it's. I do pick up berry at the end of it rather than at the front of it, but it's much less. It's much subtler than the first couple.
Well, it's a rum finished whiskey.
So, Robert, we're waiting for you to rank them now.
Oh Jesus! You didn't tell me that.
But you can think. You can think on it. You can taste again. Think about it.
Man, I'm not ready for that. Where in Utah is Julius?
I'm in Ogden, just about 30
Oh, okay.
minutes from north of Salt Lake.
Okay, all right. So if I come out there, are you drinking out of a horn? Just for my own clarity.
My Viking water cup. Yep.
Good.
Nice.
Cheers!
Nice.
Cheers to you.
Cheers. Drinking water.
And if I wanted to find you on the internet, I could just type in whiskey grilling time.
Yeah, so Whiskey Grilling Time on Facebook. You'll see my there. And then I have an Instagram and a TikTok. So, yeah.
Oh, do you dance?
He's got a
on
great
TikTok?
page on Facebook.
No, I just said, I give a cue like, hey, I did a review. Check out my Facebook group. And then I have a catering business. So I have a website like that will take you to everything as well.
Got it.
Yeah, but then you do in exclamation points. It's whiskey grilling time.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I found his rubs very innovative. I tried them with my briskets. It turned out really good.
Yeah, the unique thing about my rubs, if you guys want to know, one of the couple different spices that are in there is turmeric, berberry, curry, and then I have a whiskey salt that I add to it as well.
Wow, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, guys. Should we call it a day?
Yeah, I gotta leave, but you guys can stay on and continue to chat and
Sorry,
solve
I'm still
the
rating in my
world's
brain.
issues. But
Oh wait, let's hear Robert ranking them and then.
All right, I'm going to go fast. I think as a preliminary rating, I'm going with the 15, the Japanese. This is
there's
from
215. So which 15?
Oh, the Blackadder. Sorry.
Okay, the Ben Rennes.
Yes. And then the Dram Hunters, the Claxton, and the 13.
Wow. I think you might be the opposite of me. I like it.
No, mine and Roberts is just I know he's 15. Okay, mine is Dram Hunters, Japanese, then 15 Dram Hunters. Yeah.
Got it. No, all ratings aside, I appreciate the invite to this. It's been great. Sorry I was late again.
No worries.
Dealing with a kid.
Yeah.
I would love to be involved in the next one. I
sure.
promise I'll be on time. So please just reach out and whatever I need to do. I'm going to find Whiskey Grilling Time on Facebook and order a bunch of rubs and things like that because I dabble in it myself. Sean, you're in Illinois, so
Yeah, I think we should. Even Jeff is not too far. I mean, he's just 70 miles from where I am. So 70, 80 miles from where I am. So we all can get together for lunch and whiskey lunch.
Yeah, that sounds like a safe drive home.
Wait,
and Raj, we could do when Raj is here. I think Raj is here. I mean, I don't know if his schedule
next
schedule
week.
permits.
Come coming in Wednesday and leaving Friday.
Be a good sleeper.
So if you have time, we could all get together.
Yeah, Thursday I'm busy all day.
Either Wednesday or Friday we could plan something together.
Yeah, Friday I got an early flight out, so.
What about? So we'll touch base. We'll find we'll find some time that works for all of us.
Sure.
Thank you, guys.
See you next week.
Right. Thanks, everyone.
Good meeting you.
Raj.
All right.
You take care. Thank you.